Hi, folks. We are back. This is part 2 of the final session. Unfortunately, we had some technical glitches, and we are back. Now, what we just had before I lost audio from everywhere is that Sable Serpent, played by Leandro, had managed to roll a full hit to convince Huo, the daughter of Custodian Tian, that they should aid the rebels. So, I think at that point in the forest, as we establish everyone is, under this hood, it is pushed back and everyone can see Huo's face. And she says, "I will follow you, Tiger Eye."
I think Tiger Eye is a bit astonished at that turn of events, but he will recover his composure and bow to Huo because he has nothing personal against her. She's not going to hit her or kill her because her father is a terrible person.
How about everyone else when Huo reveals herself in your midst?
I mean, Grinal is going to be very confused at this development, but not displeased. So, how is this even happening? And Grinal is looking between Tiger Eye and Pink and raising her hand like, "Did you do this? Did you actually get to talk with her?"
Yeah, and I think you see things face being as shocked as yours. Just like staring at the wall.
So before the heroine of the hour, Sable Serpent, reveals her part in this, Sable Serpent, when Huo told you that she was doing this so we could save her father from the influence of the Fourth Master, were you honest with her that you were going to help her to try and save her father, or are you fibbing your pants off? And if so, it probably isn't in a conflict, right?
Yeah. I think what I said to her was a very selective, we'll do our best. But I am totally fibbing because my sex teaching is that, I think I mentioned in the first session, some people just deserve to die. And Custodian Tian is someone who kind of does in the eyes of my sect. Yeah, this is an inner conflict. For sure. Mark XP and roll anything except your style element. Cool. I feel. I guess I'm rolling with water because I'm being flexible with the truth. I'm speaking from a certain point of view, so to speak. And that's an 8. And I would think I will totally mark an element because I don't want. I don't want to flee the scene, which probably can work construed as some sort of like tipping Huo off above my plan. So I'm just gonna mark an element. Yeah, I think I'll mark water.
Yeah, the rules are a little unclear there. Is it mark an element or the element? I would think the one you've just used would be in keeping elsewhere. So, yeah, that makes sense. So, what does Silver Sable say when everyone else is looking around going, who has convinced Huo to join this?
I think Sable Serpent kind of steps up and she says, kind of like in a not as bombastic as Tiger Eye or Green Owl because she's not used to having to speak in front of a lot of people. And she says, "It does not matter who or what precipitated our friend Huo's arrival here, only that she has seen the darkness in the heart of this province. She's seen what we all see, which is that there is a tyranny that must be cast down, lest it choke everything else that we hold dear. And what we hold dear, and she kind of looks at Huo. What we hold dear is clearly what she holds dear as well. I've known Huo since childhood, and I know only that she moves with the utmost sincerity. And I would welcome her to our ranks.
How do the PCs react?
I think Ping scoffs a little bit and says, "Do you think everything that it takes to become one of us is just to show up in a hood?" And I think she actually, I think she like looks almost a little bit conflicted, but looks angry at Sable Serpent, and then just like leaves the or like goes to a corner and takes a drink or something like that.
Words are good and well, but we're gonna need action if we actually are going to defeat Tian. And Providence has granted us with the perfect opportunity to see how loyal Wu is to the cause. If we are able to get the two halves of the First Master's blade, we may have a symbol to unite the people, and who better to get the other half than who?
Wow pushes himself through the crowd and stands in front of Woe and Sable Serpent and looks deeply into Sable Serpent's eyes. I have underestimated you, sister. And he rushes forward, grabs Sable Serpent and spins her around, throwing her up into the air.
Thought for a moment you're gonna say, like, I don't know, he grabs me and I don't know, power drives me to the ground.
Yes, I was getting ready to stop him, actually, because I wasn't sure about his intentions either. And you might have seen that.
He goes onto his knees and puts his palms up towards you. I have thought so ill against you, but you have been acting for our family's honor and purpose all alone. Can you ever forgive me for a foolish brother's pride?
I think his hands and say, brother, there's nothing to forgive. I know I've always been, I guess I've been kind of clear that I find sometimes you make boorish actions, but I know you care about our family. I have been opaque with what I do and where I've been. And that is my fault for being so. But you don't need to ask forgiveness. I know you do what you believe is right. And yeah, squeeze his hand.
Then my bow is your bow, and I will put my life on the line to protect you and our family. At this point, Huo takes something from her back. It is rolled up, and she looks at the leaders of the rebellion and says, "You are right. Words are just words. My father is unable to wield that broken blade, and that is what has taken his soul from him. So much that he has discarded these." And she drops the roll to the floor and unrolls them to find. Is it gone? What's your character's name? Tiger Eye. It is.
My character's name is Tiger
Oh,
Eye, but
no,
my
your
father's
father's
name was Peerless Falcon.
Yeah. Peerless Falcon's swords she unrolls from the cloth and says, "In my first act of repentance, I return these to their rightful owner."
Well, that is a strong gesture. I'd pick up the swords, of course. I mean, these were my father's swords. I will wield them in his honor. And I believe that you are dedicated to the cause. I have felt this for the last few weeks when you were supposed to be hunting me and my men, and we're going, I think, in the wrong direction all the time. And you are not that incompetent. Well, so I owe you a debt, and I welcome you into our midst. And
Careful, Tiger Eye. That is almost a compliment.
And it is a well-deserved one.
I cannot apologize for the sins of my father, but we can make amends. It is my father, and only my father, who is responsible for Peerless Falcon's death. I'm going to ask Greenell how she feels about that.
I think that's when there is a bit of a pang of jealousy, because she turned on her family. She fought alongside the first master. She's been living as an outlaw for decades now, on her long quest for redeeming for the taint of her family, and who just barged in there, did not even collaborate with the plan, just presents a set of swords and all is clear. This is unacceptable. And I think she's going to roll inner conflict not to do something brash. And it's going to be, well, metal. Which is bad. Oh, wait, or it's without the element?
No, it's with an element, but not your style element.
Okay, so it works. So 11, she actually holds her cool for once. And Greenall is frowning, and she's clearly not entirely pleased with you. But she gets closer and makes an appraisal. That's a good opening gesture. Perhaps now, without these stolen blades, Tian can be met as an equal. But Tian is not alone. And while we have his most formidable assistant on our side now, there are still those that have betrayed this province to gain closeness to the Empire. We have people in the palace that might still be a wild card. We need to remove them before we move on Tian.
I want to roll in a conflict now because I really want to press Huo, but we're moving on about the whole. It was only Tian because I don't believe that. But we're moving on to the planning thing, and that seems more reasonable anyway, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to hold it together. Right now, I need, what I need is control, so metal is perfect. I've got a 7 and 8. I'm marking metal. I'm keeping it together, but you can see you can see that there's something working in Tiger Eye, and he's pretty curt about the whole thing and says, well, we have people inside the city, we have people inside the castle. I believe if we go in an attack, then we will face Tian, and whoever is in our way is our enemy. That's pretty simple. Or do you have a specific name in mind, Green Owl?
No, go ahead.
I think Ming looks worried and concerned and pulls at your sleeve and says, "But what if you do not return?" Ming pulls it. You're obviously the leader of all of them. How will they possibly survive if you are caught? Perhaps they should go without you.
Whose sleeve is she
Ming.
pulling?
I'm sorry, Tiger Eyes.
Well, I turn to her and say, well, my love, that is the price for being the leader. You have to lead. You cannot stay behind. But you might need to, because you are not a fighter. And we need some hope to stay safe. If we fail, it will be up to you.
Oh, Tiger Eye, no one is braver and more true than you. And she hugs you. How does Green Owl feel about this?
Yeah, Green Owl is taking this moment and stepping in and to say, yes, you are going to have some work to do no matter what happens, because one of the same enemies that has betrayed these people to the Empire, and they'll probably be working with the tax to letters and the new custodian, is exactly your family, Ming. You must take ownership of your family if there is to be a feature. And if that can only happen if your mother is no longer in the picture.
Tiger is a bit confused by that. Looks at you, calm water, but she's just a courtier, Green Owl.
She's a courtier that has been profiting from the people for way too long. She is too comfortable working with the Empire and has betrayed us at every single opportunity.
Yeah, and you definitely probably see like Ping and Ming, like he's changing glances. And I think Ping is like cleaning her nails with a dagger or something, looking between Ming and Bao.
So that soft move on Sable Serpent is this moment. We'll flash back away from here to back in the palace, where the last of the summer flowers are beginning to die, and you're walking through the garden with Moonlit Raven. And Moonlit Raven looks to Sable Serpent and says, "It is imperative to me that we diffuse. We must recapture the other half of the blade. From what we know, it is in Green Owl's hands. Sable Serpent, I charge you with destroying Green Owl and taking their identity." Oh, can I clarify that? Was I wrong? Does Sable Serpent have the blade, or does Green Owl
I
have
think
the
so,
blade?
because I had some epic failures on the rolls on the second. So basically, I managed to survive the drowning. My understanding is that it was Sable Serpent that actually recovered the blade.
I don't remember that.
Failed.
I remember we got the blade for sure.
Yeah, I
but
know someone
don't-
has the blade, but I don't know who.
I think it's Green Owl who had it.
My note said that Green Owl had it, and you'd stitch it into your clothing or into your armor, I believe. But if we want to reset that was fiction,
but that was before the wreck of the rolls. So for some reason, I had the impression that I had lost it. So let's keep like that.
Yeah, that's fine. So Green Owl has got it. So that's the order she has given you.
Lovely. This is kind of a move. So I mean, I could roll in our conflict, I guess, but like, it's still gonna happen. I'm I'm a bit upset, and the pillow is in the wash right now. Damn it. Yeah.
I hope this is good upset. If it's not, please exit if you don't want to go in this direction.
Oh no. I'm upset in that good. Not in like not in like I want to exit sort of scenario. No, I'm fine. I'm being
Okay.
theatrically upset.
Good, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't taking your character in a direction you felt was inappropriate.
Oh no. Table server needs to like be pushed and stop being wishy-washy anyway. That's fine.
So we'll cut back to the present, and whether they do or don't, I suppose, is the arc to find out. I think Ming looks at Green Owl and saying, "You're asking me to kill my mother."
No, there's no worse crime than such infilial piety, says the person that has been plotting that since session 1. No, all we need to do is to be ready for once your mother falls, to keep your family united. Long time ago, your family were the bastions of this community. They took care of those in need without gain, and they were willing to work with anyone that was disposed to do that. You're gonna need to restore the honor of your family. I'm not asking you to dishonor yourself, just to be ready for when the worst happens.
So instead, you ask me to give you permission and forgiveness so you may kill my mother.
I ask you for permission, but I expect no forgivings. I am willing to accept my crime, sister. But I love you too much to ask you such a burden for yourself. And I'm willing to pay my life once the deed is done. What is important is that the province is freed from the burden of empire. And I'm willing to pay whatever penance is required.
Do you feel that you've just, by asking the woman you love and telling that you're planning to kill her mother, isn't in a conflict? Or do you feel that your character is strong enough not to need to take
I think it's an inner conflict.
Always an inner conflict.
It's always an inner conflict. If you have to ask, probably it's inner conflict. And it's a failure. So how on this fiction toward the failure? Well, it's hard, but it's hard on you, David. Sorry.
In what way? Sorry.
You are the one that needs to make it worse.
I'm the one who needs to make it worse. So you failed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Marcus being the GM makes things much worse. She looks. Ming looks across everyone and says, and points at Huo. You are willing to forgive the daughter of the assassin and the custodian, but my mother must die for simply supporting the court? What crime is this? Why does she, points at Huo, allowed to atone for crimes, whilst I must allow you to murder my mother? No, I will not allow her to murder my mother. And she says, and if you try, I will reveal your secret to Tiger Eye.
And Tiger Eye looks at her and says, like, wait a moment. First of all, who is here, and she is repentant, whereas your mother appears not to be. And second, what kind of what secret is that you would reveal to me that I do not already know? And I think we're going to flash back to the boat scene, right?
Yeah. Do you want to flash back to the boat scene?
I think so, because I want to know if Tiger Eye already knows that great secret, or if he doesn't. or if he thinks he knows something but doesn't.
So we go back to when there was the trade. You're gonna have to kill your family to keep these blades, but then we see this through the eyes of Tiger Eye, I guess. No?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that. So we're painting the scene, just so I clearly understand what you're asking here. What does Tiger Eye know about the secret at this point? Is that what we're trying to establish?
Yes, exactly. I want to know if there was ever a time when this was revealed to him before or not.
I think I've got to ask that of Ludo. I'm happy we can play to find out, but as it's affecting a PC, I think it's fair
Yeah.
that Ludo should have a chance to
Totally.
direct this.
Yes, totally.
I mean, I was okay with the time, and I think I maintained that opportunity. And I think it's very interesting if of all this time, Tiger Eye knew and has respected the Green Owl.
Mhm.
And now then we go back to the present flashback, and then we see Green Owl's reaction to this revelation of Tiger Eye's dignity and respect and courtesy and honor. I think that's interesting.
Okay. Cool. So he knows, and he looks at Ming and says, "And what secret that I do not already know do you want to reveal here?"
The Green Owl is Custodian Tian's eldest and secret daughter.
And you thought I did not know this. And you think now you're telling me this to win a point? Ming, I have no words. I'm rolling in a conflict. And I can't roll it with metal. I rolled it with water, I guess, because wisdom seems to be something I need here. I've got an 8, so yeah. Well, I'm not fleeing the scene. I'm marking water. You have not done much for the rebellion. Nothing, really. Green Owl, she has always been there for the oppressed. She's always worked and fought against tyranny. She fought at the last true master's side. She suffered for it, as she said. And now you accuse her because she doesn't tell everybody she's Tian's daughter? No, that does not fly, Ming. You have to do better than that. And I step away from her.
Now
Well,
it's my inner conflict.
Yeah.
With water too. Yes, I actually succeed once. I get 12. And Green Owl has tears on her eyes as she kowtows to Tiger Eye. Brother, I am beyond indebted to your honor, compassion, and kindness. You not only respected my privacy, you also accepted my bet in war and in life, and you withheld your judgment. You do me too much kindness. And as she rises, then she turns to you. And you, my love, you abuse our relationship and kinship by repaying my love to losing the confidence that we shared to hurt me. Ming, you're just like your mother.
So Huo did not know, and now does. So she is standing next to Ping.
Now it's what that is rolling in their conflict.
So Huo's jaw drops, and she looks at Ping, and this look of horror on her face, and she realizes that Sable Serpent, who she has fought and hunted for all her years, is her sister, and her father never told her. How will Ping react to this look of real pain on her face.
So you meant Green Owl, right? Because you said
No,
Sable
no.
Serpent there.
Huo and Ping at this point. Sorry, Ping. I think he's got an entanglement with Huo. So
Yeah.
Oh,
specifically,
no, I was just confused because you said in that sentence that you realized that Sable Serpent is Huo's sister.
no,
Yeah,
yeah, sorry, not that level of entanglement. It's not got that bad.
yeah.
Sorry, my fault. Huo. Point of green owl, not Sable Serpent. Apologies. Maybe. Let's see if we get another big fail. But Ping, how does Ping react to Huo's agony?
I think actually this is in a conflict. Because I think Ping wants to comfort her, but on the other hand, there is much more important things going on than catering to people's emotional needs at this moment.
Then Huo acts up and walks towards Ming with murderous intent.
Oh. Then in that case, I don't know. I still think it's an inner conflict.
Okay, in a conflict. But I just suppose I'll just up the stakes. If you roll badly, you know what's going to happen now.
Yeah, I mean, sounds interesting either way. Okay, I'm gonna do it with metal. That's not good for me. So, well, it's a 7. So I think I marked the element. I think I marked metal, and I think Ping has been like standing in the corner, like just observing all this drama, and like not getting that affected. But when Huo looks over at her and then starts walking towards Ming, Ping shouts, "Whoa! Stop! You don't get to do any of these before you have showed some more action behind your change of heart. Don't you think that I will ever forgive you if you do this?"
Hearts and minds, please.
I think this is with fire. That's 11.
About your words. Huo looks at Green Owl and Tiger Eye and around to Sable Serpent. Looks to Sable Serpent and said, "And did you know this?"
No, I'm as shocked as you are. I think the shock is playing on Sable Serpent's face.
Huo looks at Green Owl and says, "Then I am wrong. It is not the blade that has corrupted my father. He has always been evil enough to place sister against sister." And she walks out to the firelight sobbing.
Sister, you are not required to do this. It took me a lifetime to realize how evil our father is, and even now my heart aches the realization of what I must do. You will play a part on this rebellion, but you don't have to face him.
Okay. Does anyone have any other scenes they want to play out before we close down on
Yes.
this?
I went to use Tracing Shadow on Sable Serpent because I want to know what was her purpose in bringing you here. So I hope to get that with Tracing Shadow.
Yeah, no one's really questioned why Sable Serpent is here. There are a lot of questions on Huo.
But I don't understand the move. I roll with what?
I think just roll. Yeah, I think when it says roll, it's just like, yeah, I will roll with an element.
Yeah, it's normally roll with an element, unless it says without an element anywhere as a flat roll. You will
Okay.
normally choose the most appropriate element.
Okay, so I'm rolling with fire, so I get 10. And I learn your entanglements.
And the secret they would prefer remain hidden. Oh,
Oh,
lovely.
yes.
Well, one of those entanglements is a big secret. How did you figure this out?
Yeah, that's interesting. How did I figure it out?
Did you just take me aside and go on, Dave?
Basically,
I'm suggesting, it's a suggestion, Green Owl is used to this machinations of nobles, and while they were discussing calm waters, you spotted something in Sable Serpent's eyes that gave it away. Sable Serpent is also connected to calm waters in some way.
Which is your, and it's just a gentle conversation. Which is your relationship with Ming's family, Sable Serpent? I have never seen you anywhere close beyond the confines of court. And there is this quiet smile like, wait, how does Greenwald knows what happens in court?
Yeah. Is there anyone else in this as we're talking?
I think it's still on the same scene, no?
Was it still in the same scene?
Yeah, it's basically, as everyone is between Ming and Wu, and now Sable Serpent is a bit isolated. That's when Grinal is studying her behavior during the entire scene and getting a read on her.
Okay. So the question is like, how am I connected? How do I know, like?
Yeah, how you know Ming and Calm Waters and the other members of the family? What is your connection?
I think Sable Serpent. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll inner conflict. Because everyone's rolled inner conflict. I haven't. Actually, no, I don't think any of the entanglements fit in conflict. So I think actually no, I'll do it just to see how I do. I think I'm gonna roll with Earth because I'm being cautious. Ooh, that's a 10. I think I keep my composure for sure. And let's say, much as how anyone in the court knows anyone, if you don't try and make connections, no matter how loose or small, you don't do well in court. I know Ming's family as much as anyone in court tries to. No more. But obviously, you know what's up.
So Grinal laughs and gives you a slap in the back, a small back of your the small of your back, just discomforting smack while laughing. Of course. This is a small province and every single noble knows each other. And then she leans and whispers, "My brother Tigerai has shown me extreme courtesy by protecting my secret. It is not fair what you are keeping from him about the involvement of the blooming Lotus sect on his family's suffering. But it's not my truth to tell. I advise you, Sable Serpent, to come clean to my brother, or I will have to do it myself." And then she just parts away.
I thought you were about to like Hearts and Minds of that to try and like convince me to do this, I guess it's an ultimatum anyway.
I guess we can go with Hearts and Minds to see.
I think Heart and Minds feels appropriate.
Yeah, so I get +1 because of the tracing shadows. And I'm gonna roll. I guess this is fire because it's a passionate argument. Oh, 7.
Ooh, okay, so on a 7 to 9, you mark an element as well if they decline.
So you can either do what they say and take an XP. You can burn a bond to avoid, or if you decline, both you and Green Owl take an element.
Oh, let's see. I'm God. Oh, I'm so upset. I think I'm. Oh, so just to clarify, is the secret you learn from Sable Serpent? Is it the?
The first entanglement.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. I think when you say that, because we're still around with people, I just give you a small nod, and I think I kind of like whisper back, "Don't worry. All these complications stem around one person, and it seems you're due to take care of that person once and for all. I'll come clean, and as penance, I will aid you in settling with this person, with the woman you know to be calm waters, and the woman I know to be my teacher."
And without a word, Grinal fills 2 bowls of wine, gives one to Sable Serpent, and as the bowls clang together, she groans. Then perhaps I can entrust my little sister to you after all.
Yeah, I do feel like we should have that scene of Saber Serpent and Tiger Eye coming clean, unless we do want to get to the big action sequence, because. But let's
We should start moving to the big action sequence, otherwise we might be pressed for time.
I really want.
I think, yeah.
I really would like to talk to Sable Serpent before we go into battle, because I have a worry and I want to confide in my friend, and it actually ties into what just happened here.
Yeah.
So before we, I see this, that we're saddling horses and everybody has this task, what they're going to do. So that's when Tiger Eye has somehow shaken off Ming and comes up to Sable Serpent and says, "It was good to see you here today, Sable Serpent. We have not talked for a while."
No, we haven't. I've been busy. Well, no, I wouldn't call it busy. Not like what you do. Not when you're busy doing what's right, while I'm wasting time in court.
Oh, well, you were in a precarious position with your brother, a hunted criminal, and things like that. I hope you don't mind. I took him from the dungeon.
Sorry, you broke up there. What's the last sentence you said?
I hope you don't mind that I broke your brother from the dungeon.
No. If I had to entrust him to anyone, I would entrust him with you.
Thank you, Sable Serpent. At the point of entrusting, I have a question for you. When Huo said that the only one involved in my father's death was Tian, I don't know if I believe that. Something was wrong with my father. On the day he faced Tian in duel, he would not have lost otherwise. And I always have believed that there was someone who poisoned him. And that doesn't seem Tian's. Tian would hire somebody to do that, but he would not do that himself.
Yeah, I'm not even going to roll inner conflict because I've already promised someone to I'm going to do this. I think, yeah. You see Sable Serpent's eyes. You see a stricken look flash your eyes. And she says, so I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this word. Your father was a good man. Yes?
Yes, I believe so.
He stood against tyranny, against the custodian.
He was the custodian before Tian made a joke and a horror of that title.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, he stood against tyranny for sure. Why come to me about this?
Because you are my friend, Sable Serpent, and I trust your judgment. You will tell me if I'm chasing ghosts here. Wouldn't you?
Of course I would. Of course. You're as far away from chasing a ghost as possible. In fact, her shoulder's gonna slump and she says, You're on the most sure path you can be. Do you know of the Blooming Lotus?
I've heard rumors of assassins sect who use cowardly techniques like poisoning people.
I think there's a part of this student here that's like, no, they're not cowardly, they're effective. But she stamps that down. Says, we seek to prune what we believe to be evil in this world. Or at least that's what my teacher taught me. By any means necessary.
You're telling me that you are a poisoner? I do not want to believe this.
You asked me if I was to be honest with you, and I rolled the disbelief. What's that gonna do? If like you roll a 10, you reject this reality and replace it with your own. Yeah, I think Sable Serpent kind of is looking away and says, "We do what we must."
What you must, Sable Serpent. What do you know about my father's death? And now I'm rolling inner conflict. And I'm rolling it. Oh my god! I've rolled so much inner conflict. I'm always marking my elements. I have to roll it with. No, I think I have to roll it with Earth. Yeah, that's a 9. So I guess I'm fleeing the scene. Actually, you know what?
What?
Yes, because and I'm saying I do not want to hear this. I cannot hear this from you now. I have to go lead a rebellion. We will talk, Sable Serpent. We will talk. And then he turns away and then stomps off. Like, oh my god, he doesn't. He's so feeling so betrayed.
So if we're in agreement, that is the end to this phase of the game. We will take 5 minutes again as a bio and coffee break, and then we will come back in and re-pick up on the starting positions we started to start the game for a dramatic and high-paced conclusion. Good. See you in, well, we'll say it's just coming up to 7:30 the hour now, so we'll come back for 35 past the hour, and that gives people like 7 or 8 minutes. Okay. Oh, still waiting for the entrance to be. So, shall we perhaps pick up first then, cut back to the present day, with a group of brave rebels who've now emotionally damaged each other tremendously. They go in stressed and concerned against the threats they will face. I'm going to establish that Ming is not in the boat with with Tiger Eye. Other than that, everything else can stand, and we will pick up to start with. I think with the children in the palace grounds with the apples. And from the roll we had earlier on, it didn't go so well. So, Ping, let's establish that what you see is one of the children's hand is grabbed by calm water, and you can see that the child, whilst giving her an apple, has tried to also lift her purse. So can I just check, Ping, are the apples just normal apples? Are they drugged, poisoned? Have you hidden razor blades in them? What was the plan with the apples?
I mean, they were just a ploy to get in, really. But I mean, it seems like I have accomplished what I wanted. So no, it's just a normal apple.
Okay, so calm water grabs the child and says, "You think you can take from me, child?" And she raises her hand to strike the child. What will Ping do?
I think Ping takes. She's sitting on a chair, of course, which is now her signature weapon, and like it gets up and like stomps the chair into the ground and says, "Ah, exactly who I wanted to meet. I wonder if your face looks the same if I hit you with the chair, or maybe it will reveal something else."
These vagabonds and ruffians, you know them?
Oh, I am a vagabond and ruffian.
The other nobles are biting down on the apples, wondering if this is some form of show or entertainment. And they look around as she takes a stance and says, "So, will we fight here or elsewhere?"
And I think Ping is like, "Oh, Calming Waters, I didn't know you had this stance. This is not the stance of the Calming Waters I know."
She looks and says, "There will be a reckoning." And she storms away. Unless you're going to stop her.
Oh, I definitely am. I'm throwing the chair after her.
We're entering a duel. She is above your scale.
Well, seems on brand.
Okay. The foe in the first fight is above your scale. You lose the conflict. Unless when you're faced with studying a foe. So this first one is likely not to go your way, but you will have a chance to find a weakness in her style. Yeah, you could do new technique in terms of as you said, you've been planning for this. I'm happy for you to see new technique in terms of planning. It's plus nothing because you haven't seen a fight before. So when you go off to develop a new technique to face an NPC or foe of a high scale, describe your montage.
Well, yeah, I think this is like I've been putting this dummy in our dojo and with the mask on, and I'm like practicing to hit the mask off with the chair.
Okay, so let us roll. It is a flat roll because you've not seen her fight before. See if the dice love you.
That's an 8.
There's a significant cost to learning the move. So could Ping describe the montage and what price she knows she must pay to knock the mask from her face?
I mean, I think this is exactly what is going on, like, because she's doing it right in front of everyone watching, and they will all know who she is then, as the leader of the starving Wagrants.
Okay, so now she's at your scale, so you are going to do a dual roll to see if this is now successful. And the cost will be that your identity is revealed.
Am I now
at the same scale? Yeah, the foe is at your scale.
Am I also deliberately heading off alone into a dangerous situation?
Yes, you are.
I'm not sure about this move, but I mean, it's because it's a bit weird. Because I'm like, but because I get a +1/4, but if I fail, I don't get to fight. So it's a bit strange that way. But I'm gonna try it. So let's see. I get an XP, so no, I fail. Okay, so I'm gonna use my prodigy move and reroll one the dice. So 4. Oh, also a style element, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess this is my water. Oh, another one. Great. Well, that's 7 then. No, 6.
6.
Can bonds help in some way?
What bonds have you got at this point in time? One with Ming or Huo. You could burn a bond if you think. Actually, considering we have set the function to say that there is sort of the bond. You sort of established the fiction that you are alone. So I think the bond isn't going to help here. And as you come forward with the chair and kick it towards her face, she is fast and she spins, and the apple she had in her hand throws back and impacts into Ping's face, landing just below her feet, knocking her off balance. She points and claims, "Assassin!" And the guards who are around the courtyard jump to attention, look at you. She smiles and walks off away as the guards come rushing towards you. Let's cut to the incoming troops wearing the dragon masks, carrying with wagons full of harvest, hay, more apples, there's meat, there is all sorts of things that will keep the palace in its opulence for months, or could feed villages for all of the winter. They stop at the tavern, and in comes 3 or 4 of them, going, "Oh, barkeep, it is thirsty work that we are doing. We will take drinks for everyone, and you will be glad to serve Custodian Tian."
Very important question.
Mm-hmm.
Do they drink through straws or do they take the masks off?
They must take the masks off, I think. So he unstraps his mask as they all get their bowls, and they are sitting at a table away from you and your men, drinking and celebrating. One of them takes out a bag of apples that they've also and a bag of plums, and going, "They won't notice that these are gone. Eat, eat, my friends."
I guess that's the cue for getting out to stumble her way towards their table, put one hand over one of the masks that they put on the table to drink and eat, and she leans, considering you are down to stealing apples and plums to feed yourselves, I don't think you are counting to pay for this wine, are you?
He looks over at you and says, "This is no business of yours, peasant. Go back to the woods. Leave us to our duty and our wine. You will not be given a second warning."
What if I make this my business? And she grabs the mask and puts on her own face.
There is a look of shock around the bar as everyone sees what you have done, and the sergeant stands and says, "You will pay for that, rebel," and all shit breaks loose. Let's do a deal with troops. Okay.
So I got a 10.
You do so easily, possibly even before your men get chance to stand. Would you like to describe how Green Owl puts all 5 of these people down before even your people have got a chance to put their drinking bowls down?
Yeah, as soon as the sergeant rises and as soon as he finishes his announcement, Green Owl steps on the table and it swings as a counterbalance, knocking him out instantly. And then as the others are covered in wine and crushed plums and apples and looking at their uniforms before they realize there is a hammer swinging on their directions and banging them into the floor.
Nice. Outside, Sable Serpent, you are, describe where you are, remember, you can just sort of hear this commotion inside, and the other sort of 7 or 8 guards standing outside are looking, deciding what to do. How does Silver Sable act?
I think I was kind of here to meet Green Owl, and I just assumed that I'm gonna go in and see this. Can I just look at Green Owl and says, "Well, that's terribly straightforward of you."
Well, just grab the masks and their uniforms. Let's hope that they don't notice that they are all covered in stains.
Sorry, you broke up there.
So, there's no time to waste. Just get their mask and their uniform, and let's hope that nobody notices that they are covered in stains.
Your men point to the other guards who are outside now, rushing into the doors with their swords drawn, looking at you and your men, and the poor barkeep is going like, "Who will pay for the damages?" And we will cut to Tiger Eye alone. Well, is he alone upon the ship? Does he have Y with him and his people?
He's alone on this fishing boat, but there are dozens of other fishing boats on the lake, and they are rowing towards the palace and I think or towards the harbor, and I think that's where they get off. And well, I think they will then reunite with their forces within the city and infiltrate the palace, because that was the plan, wasn't it?
That is the plan. So the mist is low on the water. It is an autumn day as you are coming through. You see a brazier fire lit on the castle walls. It glows purple for a few seconds, which was the sign that Huo would give that the gates were unlocked.
Then let's go towards the gates and open them and start attacking everyone who gets in our way. And who wants to stay in our way. Not every servant who stumbles in our way will get attacked.
Yes, it's more likely the guards. The servants will run at this act of vile rebellion as you storm through the doors. The two guards who are standing there to begin with, against all of you, have no chance as you storm through the palace at speed. As you clear up through the main gateway and onto the first floor, there are dozens of guards here, and leading them from the rear is Huo. At this point, also, you see Moonlit Raven come, well, actually, Calm Waters come rushing in as well. Huo looks at you, nods, and she starts attacking the troops from behind.
Oh, cool.
What does Tiger Eye do?
I think Tiger Eye will A, fight the guards, B, try to find Tian and confront him, and C, try to inspire the people of the castle to join the freedom fight. Because it's not a rebellion, it's a freedom fight.
You can, from a certain point of view, you can have a deal with troops, and I'm going to give you +1 on the roll for all the work that you've done collectively with Huo up to this point. They were not expecting Huo to attack them.
Okay, so I am I'm using my style now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. See how that goes. Yeah, I've got a 12.
Do you want to describe the moment that Tiger Eye draws her father's swords and goes into battle?
His father's sword.
His father's sword. Sorry.
I think yeah, well, I have drawn my swords. I'm going into the castle with swords drawn, and when Huo attacks from behind, I attack from the front, and it's just it's a blaze of blades flashing, and then there is this castle hallway, I guess, with windows where you can jump into and drop out of in graceful arcs, hitting and destroying the guards, hitting them from directions they don't expect. They expect me to be in front, and then suddenly I'm in the middle, and when they think I'm on the left, I'm on the right. But mostly it's still, there is a lot of control in what Tiger Eye does with his swords, like taking away their swords, disarming them, and yeah, that's what it's like.
Awesome, very heroic. I don't think we've seen Huai for a while, who's been also on his own training montage. He has 2 of the guards, the heads underneath his arms, and he's swinging them round like a flail, knocking guards all over the place. Let's cut back to Ping, who's surrounded by guards in the courtyard. The nobles are fleeing all over the place. They definitely are looking for you and say, "You, rebel, come with us."
I of course completely ignore this and try to chase after our friend not Calming Waters. I think I do this by trying to run, take a chair and run up on the soldiers and run on top of them.
Awesome. That sounds like you're doing an overcome.
Yeah, sure. I think this is with fire, perhaps. Let's see if I can roll dice today. That's 9.
So there is a complication. As you run up the stairs and after them, you note the guards have rounded up your children. So you land through the window, but you've left the children behind. Does this in any way trigger an inner conflict for Ping?
Sure. Perhaps. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think she like looks out. I don't know. It's not like on the top of stairs down on the square where the kids are trying to fight the soldiers. I think. But I mean, they're kids, so I think I'm gonna. This is probably well. I already have marked metal, I guess. With the earth then, just to try to be uncaring and focus. Let's see here, that's a 7.
Seven. Well, you were fleeing the scene anyway. So are you fleeing or marking? I think you probably have to mark the element because you're already fleeing the scene, and this is the complication.
Yeah, I think you can see like this smash cut to very close up to Ping's face, where she's just like biting her lips and then continue running.
Good. Okay. Let's cut to. I don't think we'll roll again. I think they're well outnumbered. You can see we return back to the bar with the unconscious second wave of guards now pretty much stripped naked as you folks are established wearing the dragon masks and costumes of the guard. Does anyone want to do anything cool or dramatic before we have you approaching the castle gates? So you are approaching the castle gates with the carts then. What is your next course of action? And I'm going to ask Sable Serpent to go first.
I think because this is kind of greenhouse operation during this time, I think she's I'm going to flashback to a new technique as well.
Mm-hmm.
This time I think she's preparing for a confrontation with her teacher. And there's probably been ample time to study her in the past.
You have definitely had to study other ones, so I'm going to give you a plus 1 on this roll, just to.
Cool. Do I have to pick a style element, right?
You do. It's normally.
Okay. Let's see then. Which one is it? I think, yeah, I'll go with Earth. Does that make sense? Trying to be cautious, focused, all that fun stuff. And that's a 7.
So, there's a significant cost to learning the move.
I think the cost is I poisoned myself. Needs the move. No. Well, maybe. I think like. Actually, no. That's ridiculous. I have to poison myself to get, and then find a way to spread that there. No, that's a bit weird. Open suggestions at the moment.
I think you have the way you plan to beat her as the serpent is you have placed some venom in your mouth. The cost is if she manages to overcome you, this poisonous venom will flow through your veins before it is spat into her face. It's dangerous. What you're doing is extremely dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down for that. I mean,
Okay.
I know we have a second chapter, but not all characters have to survive.
This is true. Cool. Okay, so that was how you were preparing, ready for the scene. And what about Green Owl? What does Green Owl do as you approach the gates? They creak open for you.
So Green Owl, the disguise of the sergeant, is trying to lure Tian in. Okay, this is the last batch. There should be a quick inspection, and the custodian has need give the approval so that we can start to load these on the ships to go to the capital. And basically, she's using the bureaucracy of the palace to get Tian here, because usually the secretary that handles that, for some reason, is not present. Serene Crow is nowhere in sight for some reason. So she's hoping to lure Tian in. And if we want to resolve the new technique now, I think she has been trying to develop a way to be able to move in between the storm of blades that the twin style of Tian allows. And how many times did we see him fight? I think only 2.
I think too. You saw him fight once with the twin blades, and once again since he took the is using the blade of the first broken blade of the first master.
Yeah. Oh, 12. Great. Yeah, so I'm confident that I found a gap on his style, so which will reveal later.
So we, I think, cut to Tiger Eye, who has gone further up in the castle to where the throne room or the magister's, sorry, the governor's room is, and there standing, or sorry, maybe sitting in the throne, is Tian with his golden dragon mask on, smoke wisping. He has the blade drawn and is sitting cross-legged, looking and waiting. He says, "Tiger Eye, I have been expecting you."
Should I go for the new technique now? Because it appears that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
And I've seen him fight 3 times, I guess. Once would have been in the past when he fought the duel against my master, against my father, and then on the ship. And then another time, I think, in the throne room.
Yeah, with the prisoner.
No, I didn't see that. I wasn't there.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw him fight 2 times. That's that should be enough anyway. And I've got the new swords. Or not new swords, my own swords. I roll that with my style element?
Yep.
Oh, great. Let's see if I'll have that after the roll. Well, yes, I do. I have a 9, though.
There's a significant cost to learning this move. What was it?
Significant cost to learning this move. I guess that what I've learned is to use the move, yes, but I will shatter my father's swords when I do.
Awesome. So, looks at you and says, "Before you attack, there is a choice you must make." And from the rooftop, coming down like one of those falling ribbons, you can see it fall down, and you can see bound in it Ming, and she is trapped and bound, and says, "Your foolish lover tried to kill me herself."
Yeah, I think I need more inner conflict this scene. Yes, inner conflict. That's perfect. Okay, I have still 1 element unmarked. That's wood. Because no, I have earth on. No, I use earth then. I roll with earth. My inner conflict. Even though I'm pretty much, the inner conflict isn't because Ming is my lover. It's more like because what she did with Green Owl, that was way beyond anything that I could forgive. But she's innocent in a way, and she tried to do the right thing. So that's where my inner conflict is coming from. Oh, wow. No, I don't really have inner conflict. I've got a 13. I'm not very conflicted. And so I say, well, if she wanted to kill you, then I suppose I will try to do her will. And then I'll attack him.
Okay. So as it flows down, you can see the lifeless body of Ming hit the ground, and you can see or feel her spirit whooshing around in the sword and says, "Ha ha ha, then we will fight." And then we'll cut for a second back to
Can I shout no or something like that
Yeah.
before attacking him? I shout, "No, cruel tyrant. This ends here."
good. Let us cut to Ping. You have come through the window, chair still in hand, and you see Tiger Eye, not Tiger Eye, even Tiger Eye is not them. You see Calm Water, who's looking quite concerned to see you come through the window. I think at this point, I will give both Green Owl and Sable Serpent the ability to come in or interact in one of the two duels as you make your way through the castle. So which one do you want to be in, Green Owl?
Daddy.
Okay. Sable Serpent?
My secret daddy. No, I'm kidding. I know where I'm going to be. Going to teach.
Okay. So let's deal with Green Owl and Sable. Sorry, let's try with Sable Serpent and Ping first. You come into the room. There are guards all over the place, knocked down. Clearwater, when she sees you, pulls away the mask of Clearwater, and it is like she takes it away. There's now like a clay, almost kabuki mask she holds in her hand. Her eyes are dark and her skin is taut, and her nose is sharp and bird-like. And she looks at Sable Serpent and says, "Sable Serpent, assist me in the defeat of our enemy," and points at Ping.
Oh, go on.
Do you think you might need to roll in a conflict, or is
I think I might because this is me. Yeah. I'm still rolling with Earth. I'm trying to be cautious and focusing. All that fun stuff. That's a 6, but I'm gonna burn a bond with the. Let's see. It says here I have a bond with the blooming lotus. I'm gonna burn that to add a +1. And I'm going to mark Earth. And I think what happens is it's just the three of us here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm not gonna try to be duplicitous and like pretend to help her. We're just gonna just straight up fight. And I say, what do I say? No, instead, I raise a knife, a dagger at her, and say, I'm trying to figure out like the words. Trying to imagine like the blooming lotus has like an Assassin's Creed. They have that Requiescent Pace bullshit. They probably have the same sort of thing. And it says, "I'm sorry, Moonlit Raven, but my teacher, but you will choke the land no more."
How does Ping react?
I think it just like looks very surprised over at Sable Serpent. Of course, not even contemplating that they were in alliance with how this all was fit together. And says, "Well, it seems you must finally fight. Time to meet the Dirty Fist."
Roll a duel. So that's rolling a worthy roll with your style element. I'm going to give you a +1 to reflect the shock at the betrayal of Sybil Serpent.
Who's rolling that?
Well, I think you're both attacking together. It's sort of.
I'll let Ping get the
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm rolling, you're gonna have another shot.
I don't know. You might take her out in one go. Well, if you get a 10.
A 9. Well, a +1, that's a 10 then. Yeah.
So, I do think this is likely both of you fighting her because she is still a master. So she fights between the both of you. I think, but the final blow is from Ping. So would you like to jointly describe how you beat Moonlit Raven?
You go first. I have a finishing move in mind.
Okay. Is it just like I'm fighting and then you smash the table and the chair and hit? No. It's yeah. I think the betrayal definitely spurs her to concentrate on me, and I'm imagining that her style is definitely a bit of a no, it's not a contrast. But she was my teacher. So we almost fight in. It's almost synchronous. It's almost like a ballet. But when Ping comes in, you see Moonlit Raven knows more than just what she taught me, and kind of shifts. And it's this furious dance, because I don't know, Dirty Fist sounds like it's just not uncouth, but like it looks scrappy, I assume. Yes.
So I think you're using the same similar style maybe to Moonlit Raven, and it feels like you were well matched. She's surprised at how good you are. Says, almost my equal. And then Ping, taking the opportunity, does.
Yeah, she of course there's a chair in the room, of course. And I think she like hits her over the head with the chair so that she's stuck inside like the bindings of it, and like drags her out into window and like shouts down in the courtyard, "See, this is your serpent in your midst." And I think I'm using my move Monkey Fist Floating Snake. When you defeat an info, you may humiliate them comically if you show them mercy. And I think I like make sure you don't let poisonous snakes like this into the castle again. And I like tip her over the window and let her like run away.
Dun, dun, dun. So she escapes into chapter 2. Yes.
I'm gonna. If we had time, I would have words with Ping about this, but we don't have time.
I'll cut the scene, and we can have then a closing reflection shortly. So it will be good coming into the next part of the chronicle, I would imagine. But let's come across to Tian, who stands and says, "What you love, Tiger Eye, I will destroy until you and everything that gives you hope is burnt away."
This province, I love this province, and you're doing a good job of it, but I will stop you now.
Green Owl, you also enter the scene. Do you want to say anything at this point?
So I went to the scene, and I want to get as close as possible before my disguise is revealed, and I want to do something to help Tiger's Eye dilemma. Something unexpected, but I'm not exactly sure how to resolve that.
Well, I think I know that you are the text guy, or I suspect that you are the text guy is really Green Owl, right? Because that was the plan.
So what I will suggest is if you, Green Owl, would like to roll study, you can shout something of meaning to Sable Serpent that will allow her to defeat the Master Blade.
Sable Serpent isn't in the scene, though.
Oh, sorry, I look in the Tiger Eye. Sorry, Green Owl can do that for Tiger Eye.
Okay, let's see if I have one of my study moves that applies. Would you say the Thief of Thieves helps me get any way closer to Ming? As I'm getting into a place where I shall not be.
So describe what you want to achieve, Ludo.
So basically the idea is so that the pressure, dimensional pressures is relieved on Tiger's Eye. So removing Ming from the equation would be the ideal.
You can, but Ming's dead.
Oh, dead.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess that's not the fact. I guess in this case, I'm trying to comfort Tiger Eye. So I strut in, and as I am it seems like I'm gonna arrest him or something. But the last moment I reveal the mask, I throw it to the floor and it cracks. And I turn to Tiger Eye. We are in this together, brother. Let's finish this. Let's honor everyone that paid the ultimate price. So I'm trying to comfort you.
You don't have to roll because I will reject that. Because I have a move that will let me clear a condition if I do. And I don't have to roll, so that's perfect. So I will turn to you and say, maybe, sister, you should stay out of this. There is nothing worse than besmirching your hand with family blood. Let me share it. Let me bear that burden. And I bow to you.
Don't worry. I don't plan to bleed him. I plan to crush him.
So clear an element, then
Yes.
Tiger Eye and Green Owl. You take a bond with Green Owl for another point.
Ooh. Yes. Cool. No, wait, I think I take a bond with Green Owl.
That's right. Yeah, you take a bond.
Oh, that's great because I don't have any bonds right now. Ha. Amazing. I will really need this.
And you are now dueling an opponent on your scale.
Should I hit him? Then you can crush him if I fail.
Yeah, go ahead. It's your scene after all.
Okay, I think I'll use. Well, I have to use fire. Well, I have a 12. Sorry.
That's all good. No. Describe with the caveat that your father's blades will break in this fight how you defeat Custodian Tian.
Well, he uses this broken blade of the dragon first. The green dragon, was it, right?
Yeah, the first master. Yeah.
Yes. And while he's pretty obsessed with that, it is not quite the way you fight the style with a broken blade. And I think what happens is that he faces two enemies, right? Because there is a Green Owl as well with her monstrous hammer, just keeping him on his toes because he has to evade that. He cannot parry a hammer like that with his blades. It's just not possible. And all the while, everywhere he goes, there are those flashing blades. But of course, he is better trained and he knows it. So he will shatter one blade. And I will pretend to be dismayed because now, and I will lure him because he thinks I'm weaker now. And he thinks that he has won something. He evades the hammer. He closes in to Tiger Eye, and then with a simple move that he used before, he would shatter the second blade. But what he doesn't know is that Tiger Eye was prepared for that, and he still has the stump of the first blade, and it's sharp, and he pushes it into Custodian Tian's body.
Custodian Tian behind the mask, you can hear them gasp in pain. And it whispers, "Curse you. Curse all of you." And steam and smoke starts coming out of the body. Spirits he has stored in the blade rebel, and all of a sudden he erupts into smoke, and you can see the clothes and the mask drop empty to the floor, as if the blade has absorbed him as well.
I turn to Green Owl and say, "This is unexpected."
I was not aware of this power ever since that day when the first master fell. I thought this was only something that the masters could do. I was not aware that my father was involved in this.
Maybe it is the power of the blade rather than the man.
Well, and who gave the blade that power?
We might need to find out. Could be the secret to destroying the False Master.
Indeed, we need to find this power and liberate it, and then the four masters can return harmony to the world.
And I wave to the broken sword at you and say, "Well, here is part of the sword, and I think you have the other half. Maybe it's destined that you become one of the masters."
We need to find a blacksmith, and it has to be the best across all provinces.
Well, you have my source when I get new ones.
So I think we'll move back downstairs to Sable Serpent and Ping at this time.
Ooh. I think I just quietly say, "Do you know what you just did?"
I got another chance to fight them again. And I think Ping smiles at you.
Oh, Sable Serpent's not smiling. She says that the next time she comes at you, it won't be with a smile and a sword in her hand. She'll come at you when you least expect. An unsuspecting apple, a random messenger in the night. You won't see her when she's coming for you. She'll not fight on your terms. She'll fight on hers, which is always. We should have killed her here. This was a mistake.
I think Ping smirks at you and says, "Oh, what you're describing is the paranoia of a rich person. I am not one of those, and I am never unexpected." And I think she walks off towards the courtyard to find her children again.
Okay. Then we will draw the veil down there. I don't know whether to do an epilogue or just leave it and pick up next time. What are people's thoughts? Epilogue or not? Not really the total end, but it's no from Maludo.
I think the scene in the throne room was the perfect ending for that arc, at least.
Yeah, then we will leave it there, full of more drama and conflict for next time to resolve. Excellent. Good. So we've got a few minutes left. We might run a little over half past the hour if that's okay with everyone, just to do some probably roses and thorns with any questions or problems there. But also, I'd like to sort of get a grip of what you want to do in the second arc of the game, and if you plan to carry on with your same characters, or you think they might remain in this province. So let's go for some roses and thorns, and let's start with how I can see people in my chat window. So I'm going to start with Leandro first. Any roses to?
If you don't mind, I'm gonna do all the roses and wishes and whatnot because I just realized I'm meant to be cooking lunch for the family. It is.
Of course. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so roses. Ha! Holy crap. Can't just Rose drown that entire planning scene in roses and also thorns because that hurt. That hurt so much. I think it masterful the way Dave, you juggled everyone's conflict and how everyone leaned into their conflicts, where it turned to a cascade of everyone just being kind of like forced into a position to like really like enough with this wishy-washy he said she said bullshit, to quote Limp Bizkit. No, I'm not quoting them. So I think just the entire scene, I think it kind of showed like everyone's just at their element, like Green Owl sense of idealism tied to also their cynicism with like everything with the people around her, just like, and her suspicions with like Sable Serpent and whatnot, but also like the way she takes on people's burdens. Like, you don't have to do this, sister. Well, I've learned how to do this. That's contrast to Tiger Eye, who is a bit more wide-eyed of an idealist, making those speeches like, come on, we can do this. But when confronted with like complicated stuff like that scene with Sable Serpents, like, I don't know how to deal with this. I mean, I know that was because of the role, but like I think it helped replayed the character. And God, I'm so angry at Ping. I'm so angry. But she has her reasons, even if Sable Serpent doesn't understand. And I think it also showed in that scene of like she's kind of like the most lowborn of everyone, so she has a right to like dismiss everyone else as kind of like, you don't know where I've been. Makes sense. And again, Dave, thanks for juggling all this and being. I don't have my pillow, damn it. But like, keeping it all going. God, it's upset. I don't know if I have any thorns. I just have like wish, just a wish, because I really have to go.
What would you like to see for? Are you still planning to play Sable Serpent next time?
Yes, I think. I think as long as Moonlit Raven is still around, that's
definitely.
There's a lot of unfinished business there, and for sure, and unfinished business with Tiger Eye, because I technically didn't tell him that. No, I didn't poison your dad. He ran away before I could finish my story. There's still a lot of stuff there, so I'm definitely keep it Sable Serpent. I think that's kind of what I want. I think definitely now that I don't have to like kowtow to Moonlit Raven, I think talking to the PCs. I think that's the one thing I think I didn't have as much as I would like in this series. So next series, I would definitely get entangled more with the PCs, because I think for this series I was spending more time like cultivating Huo and other NPCs and angsting about myself. And I think now that it's all out in the open, like Green Owl knows what I did, Tiger Eye kind of knows what I've been, and Ping has just complicated my life to a terrible degree. I think there's no more reason to like interact with the PCs for sure.
Awesome, Sabine. That is just the cruelest entanglement I've ever seen, but I love it.
So cruel. Anyway, yeah, y'all are great. I'm gonna go. I have to go cook.
Thanks, Leandro. Thank you
But
for
thanks very much.
playing.
You are great.
Awesome. Ludo, you are next in my window. So roses and any thorns and wishes for future direction.
I mean, I have to double down on that planning scene, that damn planet scene. We had flashbacks within flashbacks, and everyone was crossed together, and everyone took apart, and then we cut, and we have David juggling everything. Like, that scene was an amazing emotional climax, and I had absolutely no idea in which direction it was going. And I was like, these can go in places in which there are actually 3 survivors that are actually doing the right. And I also want to give roses for the confrontation between Ping and Calm Waters, because it was really something. And you really hated when she got the best, and then we have the intervention of Sable Servant, and then we have that resolution and that tension between the 3. It was just perfect. Yeah, and I really love Tiger Eye's arc, which I've been loving to the other episodes of the season, but I think the pretty much every point that we have seen of their character was really showcased and perfectly beat struck across this session. It was really amazing. It was like a best of Tiger Eye straight. And Thorn Wishes, I was not surprising, expecting such obvious magical and supernatural elements, which honestly, it's my fault, because David warned, hey, this is based on water margin. Like, water margin is ultra magical, so I only have myself to blame for not saying until the last moment. And yeah, so it's a bit of unexpected turn, but turning into a wish, because, okay, now that I know that this is part of the game, I want to see more of this and export these elements. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Nico, you're next in my window.
Yeah, that was a fun session. I really also loved the last scene. I got to finally beat someone or fight someone, because this stupid, well, and that's actually my thorn, I think, is to the move I have. I really don't like it. His name is Nobody, because it like keeps blocking me from fighting, which is, I don't know, seems like counterintuitive.
If the move doesn't make sense by the time we come back and you want to retain the same character, I have no problem with us either changing that move or having a look at the move, because we can give some feedback to Lowell and Agatha if we think it's not quite hitting your mark.
No, it's definitely not. Like, I used it twice, and both times I failed, and thus have missed out on a cool situation. Because it's like a setup into a, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit weird.
It's like a painting the scene sort of move rather than a combat move, isn't it? It's interesting.
Yeah, but on a miss, I fall into a trap or ambush. So yeah, but anyway, I don't know. That was a bit. I was a bit bummed by that, because it's like, oh yeah, well, I mean, this is very much my character move. So I should do it. But then I failed again, and it just like completely blocked me off. Yeah, the resulting fight with Sable Serpent and his master was definitely like my highlight, and I really both for you for setting that up and still giving me the opportunity despite failing earlier, and also to Leandro for like letting me do that and finally getting to fight. which was fun.
Awesome.
Mhm. And
Uh,
I plan on keep on playing Ping.
and I didn't ask Ludo the question, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Is will we see the return of Green Owl?
Actually, the obvious answer with what we set up was yes. But now I'm getting a mischievous view if we tell the story like the mess that water margin is. For you to follow the story of a character, you have to change 2 or 3 times the character you're focused. And I'm thinking maybe we can continue the story with who? Maybe the blacksmith that we are looking to find the blades,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know how to do this, but if I find a way to introduce some kind of Taoist priest in the process, I'll definitely go for it.
Awesome. Have a think. Certainly, I'd love to play with you all more, but you are not bound to the same character if you want to change. And the same questions on any roses and thorns and future directions to Sabine.
Well, yeah, I've got lots of roses. I mean, I totally loved the interaction with Green Owl in this session. The whole, yeah, well, I knew their secret, and then I loved that Ming was such a well bad person, and that I had a good reason to have this emotional rift between Tiger Eye and Ming, which led ultimately to him sacrificing her, which wasn't nice of him. And that's probably the reason why I would like to continue playing him, because I think that will eat at him, and that will ultimately leave him unable to be a custodian or anything for this province, and that he will feel that he is not worthy. Yeah, Ming was the worst. And I really want to interact more with Ping because she had lovely scenes, but I don't really have a connection with that character at all. And that's a pity, because I mean, I have a whole band of people like her, even though I was born a noble. I don't feel like I am a noble any longer. And I really want to have more of connection with her. And I would love to have Green Owl back, because she is going to become a master, but she could do that if she was an NPC, I guess. And David, I loved the whole the NPCs and the whole beats you hit. That was amazing, and how you gave each of us spotlight. That was great as well, and I'm really hoping we are continuing this.
Oh, we're definitely continuing. It's like, are we really going to take August off? Cancel all your holidays. That's the way forward.
I mean, I don't have holidays in August, so I'm okay with that plan.
Yours in September. Yeah, I will get the doodle poll up today, folks, so we can establish when we're playing August and September to make sure we can try and minimize or get rid of any chances of people missing games. So awesome for that. And again, roses to everyone for all sorts of bits and pieces. You completely, Ludo. I have absolutely loved Green Owl. I loved Silver Sable's, not Silver Sable, Tiger Eye's response to the secret being revealed, and Ming, who only wanted to save her mother. She's not the worst. You were trying to kill her mum, you mean. I thought that was wonderful, and that I really am looking forward to exploring what cost that has put on Tiger Eye, because there was one. Yeah, her mum was. It wasn't really her mum. It was a being assassin. So it was wonderful. Thank you so much for it. Finding the beats in the game when you had sort of figure out your characters are so vivid is a lot easier. So I really appreciated that. And we will do some sort of, I think, some closing questions maybe in the coming weeks. I'll send out and we can fill in to think about what the province looks like when you leave it, and then start establishing a new province or place in the world, which has got some great inner conflicts to deal with and some more mysticism now we've introduced that more dramatically into the world. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you, folks. It has been awesome, and I will see you for our second chapter in a few weeks' time. Enjoy the rest of your day, gang.
Yeah, have a nice day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.